Welcome to Developers Corner. I'm Rob Langton from developmentready.com.au, and we are joined here this morning with Dan Everett of Everett Property Development Management. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
So Dan, I guess what sparked your initial interest within the property sector, as it were?
Yeah, so my original interest would be probably high school in graphics class.
Wow.
In graphics class, I really learned to design buildings and sketch them and put those ideas into a 3D environment, using Autodesk Revit. So yeah, that would be the initial phase, and then taking that really allowed me to land my first job into the design space, into the first avenue of property development. And yeah, essentially from there, moved through to Brisbane and undertook university studies and really started the foundations of what's brought me to development management today.
Wow, and you've had a couple of different hats, I understand it. You've sort of been through the design phase and the architecture phase, and now you're in the development management phase. Tell us about your business.
Yeah, correct. So I have been through the phases, the architecture through to project management, superintending, and now development management. The Everett Property Development Management business, we essentially discover the development potential of land. We do this and then we realise that potential through property development. We offer landowners and investors a true property developer service through development management consulting. We basically do this through two key phases, and we break down the property development process through a development applications phase, where we undertake things like feasibilities, site due diligence, and we take through to applying through council for an application and then achieving that approval. And then our next phase is our construction phase, where we essentially go to market, obtain good value for money through construction. We help draft these and tailor the construction contracts, and we take that through to construction and settlement.
Wow, and who are some of your clients at the moment? Are they sort of mum and dad landowners in particular sections of Brisbane? I know this term called the missing middle in Brisbane. Tell us about that, and then secondly, the clients that you're working with.
Yes, correct. So the missing middle is a core focus of what the Everett business is focusing towards. The mum and dad investors, again, is another core focus. I saw an avenue and an opportunity in the market to really bring what the property developer is doing and bring that to the landowner, to the everyday mum and dad investor out there, and that's an opportunity that we're looking at. The missing middle is a core typology and focus for Brisbane, and yeah, that's our big focus.
So Dan, tell us about your interpretation of the market so far in 2017.
Sure, Rob. So I see conservative investment. I see a flight to quality, community, livability. So they're the key things. And I also see some underlying changes that's happened in the market. So one of them would be a tightening of funding, and that availability of capital would be one thing. For Australian investors, Australian first home buyers, and also Chinese outflow and influx of money, the tightening of that as well. Another key change for 2017 is the apartment market and the availability not the availability, I'd say, the oncoming new supply of apartment stock. Another key thing, if I'm just thinking Brisbane and the market that I'm specifically focusing in, and that's the differences between price points of our counterparts with Melbourne and Sydney, and the higher price points that we're seeing there, we're seeing a stronger influx of capital that's wanting to move to Brisbane. But while there is a stronger influx of that capital wanting to move here, we're seeing bottlenecks with funding, allowing that to take place.
And with such activity and interest across Brisbane, how do you go about attracting new projects and new clients?
So a core focus for Everett this year is facilitating, or basically capturing, strong relationships with the teams that's in Brisbane and the surrounding councils of the Brisbane City Council. We see good opportunities, and we see strong relationships with agents, with real estate agents, with lenders, brokers, funders, banks, and additionally the consultancies that are working very much upfront, the teams that are working prior to development applications. We're working heavily to perform and maintain our relationships as we see great business-to-business opportunities there.
And with marketing research, I mean, obviously it's a critical component, whether you're an agent, whether you're a development manager, a project manager. What's your approach?
Yeah, market research, that's one of the core things that we do up front. So phase one of our projects is prior to the development application approval. So we like to do market research, which is basically blanketed within our due diligence work right up front. And market research, within our due diligence report, we have market research, we have investigations of the site, we have due diligence, we have feasibility. And market research, we look at the human factors, the factors of what development is being undertaken in the surrounding environment in that locality. And we're looking at cool things like demographics, a lot of statistics that are readily available for us online, and also the council websites to have a good understanding of what product's being brought to market today, what product will be brought to market in the next year or 2 years, and really utilising that and capturing it in our upfront work.
And just on that, what sort of trends and patterns are you seeing in the Brisbane marketplace that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, trends I'm seeing, and being a new business, I can really talk on this regard. So I've seen of late, and living also within and amongst Brisbane, just speaking of that locality on its own, we've seen a lot of apartment supply that's been brought to market, it's being delivered to market, and some is it's still in construction. And I'm seeing those developers that are moving to townhouses in the middle ring and townhouses in communities. So we say the middle ring, you know, that might be the 5 kilometre ring, or the 3, 4, maybe 8 to 7K of Brisbane, for example. Right. And then we have communities that are being developed outside of Brisbane, and also estates within the 10, 15, 17 kilometre type rings. So I'm seeing developers, basically the smart ones, diversifying in amongst the middle rings, these 10 to 15 kilometre radius areas, and also new communities.
And obviously there's I guess mum and dad owners, there's maybe people that have never developed before that own properties within those missing middle, or within that sort of 3 to 8K that could potentially develop their properties. That's where you come in. Tell us about the process, I guess, from inception. You come in, and then what sort of services do you offer from the outset?
Yeah, correct. So, and the missing middle is a core focus, and we offer a service, and we try to simplify that service into 2 key phases. One of them the development application phase, one of them the construction phase. Clients or mum and dad owners, landowners can come to us, and we can help really discover the development potential of their land. If you're sitting on an 800 square metre block in a missing middle suburb, in those the 5 kilometre ring, and there might be an opportunity to do an infill townhouse development, where an avenue to uncover and really realise that potential is an avenue that we look at helping clients with.
So Dan, settlement risk, obviously we read about a lot in the news, you know, we hear about a lot, both Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. With the clients you're working with, is that a big issue at the moment you're finding?
Yeah, Rob, so settlement risk is an issue for every project, and it's something that we consider with every project as well. Within our upfront due diligence reports, that's something we really look to iron out. So prior to submitting a development application for approval, we're looking at really looking through the process of settlement really upfront. And there's a core thing I do to really to look at that, and that's speak to an experienced project marketing and sales person upfront. So if I have a development in a specific area, I'll identify a preferred project sales and marketing team. I'll bring them in upfront when I'm at the concept design stage of a development, and they'll be helping me helping hands-on with bringing together that feasibility study and the concept design, so we're bringing the right product mix to market, but also thinking in the back end of the sales strategy as well. So what are the strategies we're using? We might be using a retail strategy, or we might be using a commissions or a differing sort of channel partnering strategy. Technology is a big factor that I'm looking for as well, bringing together online portals to help support those two. But essentially I'm using the expertise of that project sales and marketing person up front to set the project right.
So just finally, Dan, the next 6 to 12 months, tell us what's your forecast. Where do you see the market going from here?
Positive, Rob. Positive. Positive about Brisbane. Positive about southeast Queensland. I see development applications, for example, have pulled off a bit, and I see product being absorbed. Also, the developers I'm seeing are diversifying their product, moving from apartment through to townhouses and community estates, missing middle, infill developments as well. So I'm seeing this diversification take place, which is what the market is wanting. What I do see at the moment, though, is a slight bottleneck towards funding. There's interest out there. There's interest from developers. There's interest from investors, I should say, and there's interest from interstate investors, and also owner-occupiers on the ground that want to buy product, and overseas. But in all of these different potential clients looking at purchasing, the funding presents a problem for all. So I see as that funding being released and that I guess bottleneck being taken away, we should see an influx into purchasing into the southeast Queensland market.
Very good. Well, Dan, thanks so much for joining us here on Developers Corner. Been a pleasure having the opportunity to chat with you.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you very much for watching.